two Asian girls got invited to Google's headquarters in New York. Like, who would have thought that that happened to us, right?
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน Where are we? We're at Google headquarters. Ta-da! Google headquarters.
So today in this video, I want to give some tips about how you can be able to go into big companies like these and make these connections that will allow you to, build a career in these big tech companies or these big multinational companies and kind of like build a career path for yourself. So how me and my friend got invited to Google headquarters was very random. So me and my friend, we decided on a whim to go to this kind of random networking event, and then we just went there, and it was like a no-phone networking event, and it was a bunch of adults there. And so we were like the two youngest people at this random event, and we just talked to a bunch of people, and then we landed on this guy who is Asian, and he seemed really smart, and so we like talked to him, and we were telling him how my friend really wants to become a PM, which is a product manager. She was trying to get into product management. And then this guy just suddenly tells us that, he's like a manager at Google, and he's a software engineer manager, so he actually like manages a group of engineers at Google. And after talking for a while, we exchanged contacts, and he was like, oh yeah, if you ever want to come to Google, like want to come visit the headquarters, just let me know. And then so, because my friend was like leaving New York soon, back to Thailand, we decided to like hit him up and be like, hey, can we come visit Google headquarters? And so he actually, brought us over to the office.
เป็นไงคะ
คือถ่ายกันแล้วกันเลย
ตื่นเต้นไหมคะ
And this is like our second time meeting him. The first time that we met him was at this random event. The second time that we met him was at Google. And in between those two times that we met him, we learned that he's a Stanford alumni. So tip is you should put yourself out there by going to networking events, because you never know who you will meet. Like, I never expected this guy that we met to, be working at Google, to be a Stanford alumni as well. And so he actually later on revealed that he actually kind of built a club at Stanford that is a very well-known entrepreneurship club that my friends are a part of. It's kind of like very much like we're all like tied and connected, but you never know who you will meet. So just put yourself out there, and you'll never know what could happen. I think that as a Thai woman, and as a woman in general in society, it tends to be really difficult for us to put ourselves out there, especially in a tech-dominated society or like a very male-dominated industry like tech. And I totally get it, because I learned at Stanford, and in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley, it is very male-dominated. And sometimes when you get approached at events, when you go to these events, sometimes you feel like, wait, am I in danger, or am I just being approached because of my looks or because of what I can offer them physically? That's not like part of what our brains or our talents. And I have a lot of girls who have come up to me and actually experienced this firsthand, and just telling me about how they feel so objectified in this tech space, because it's kind of like, well, I have more to me than my looks and all these things. Like, I actually have a brain, and I can actually code as well as you do. And so I totally get the fear of putting yourself out there, especially in places where it might seem like there's danger or it's not safe for you as women. However, I also think that these limiting beliefs can also stop you or prevent you from reaching your fullest potential, or it can also prevent you from seeking the opportunities that you deserve. So there has to be a balance, right? Of hey, how do I protect myself, but also know which events can I go to? And so for this situation, I knew that this event was pretty safe. It was I was going there with my friend, and even though I didn't know anyone, me and my friend, we went there together. So it was really nice that us two girls were there to look after each other. It was a good way for me to feel like I was safe, because I had someone there with me. But then I wasn't stuck with her the whole time. Even though we were there together, we always split up, and we would go around talking to other people in the room and getting to know them. And we would always stick together. And when we finished the event, we would go back home together. Even though I was in a new environment, that was how I felt I had someone there I could always go back to, or lean back on if I felt uncomfortable or anything. And so I think that that's like one tip for any young girls who are going to networking events. If you feel a little bit uncomfortable or if you're scared, definitely like bring a friend along or bring someone along who you can trust, because then that can allow you to be more like yourself, right? Because then like if you're in a state of fear or feel like you're in danger, you're not gonna be able to show your true authentic self. So by putting yourself in a situation where you can feel safe and feel like there's someone there supporting you and someone you can lean back on, you can truly roam free around the hall and be yourself and get to know other people and learn about them. And so I think that like I totally get where you're coming from, but don't like have these limiting beliefs like stop you from reaching your fullest potential. So I think that this tip of putting yourself out there is not just something that is just a one-off thing where it just applies to this situation where it was just very lucky that I met this person at this event who ended up being a Stanford alumni, who ended up working at Google, and is just also interested in entrepreneurship. I think that's not a one-off thing at all, because this has happened like multiple times in my life. And I think that a lot of big events, a lot of people think that like there's a build-up to like how this big event, one event changed your life. But you never know, like sometimes it's like luck, but it's because you are creating your own luck and you're putting yourself out there and increasing your surface area for luck, and that is why you were lucky. So an example is like, I also met this other mentor in New York through another mutual friend, and I just had like dinner with him, and after that, I just learned that, you know, he is an angel investor, and he actually, after learning about my interest in entrepreneurship, he actually told me that like, I would love for you to mentor my two daughters, and if you ever start a company one day, I wanna put a check in it, even though we just met like twice. And so I think that the power of kind of putting yourself out there, you never know who you'll meet and kind of how lucky you can get. Like, sometimes if you just shout things out at the universe, like for instance, I actually got to visit the office of Meta, like Facebook, in Menlo Park in right by Stanford, and the reason was because my boss, I work for an office at Stanford, and he knows that I'm interested in entrepreneurship. He knows that I'm interested in like working for big companies, and so when he knew that like one of his friends worked at Meta, he was like, "Pear, I want to take you to Meta." And so he actually like brought me to Meta, and we had lunch with like an engineer at Meta, an AI engineer there, during my work hour, because he knew that I was really interested in that. Or for instance, when I hosted my birthday party, I hosted a pretty big birthday party at Stanford that was sponsored by a pretty popular cafe on campus. And the reason was because my boss, he knew that I was into marketing. And so he connected me with the owner of the cafe. And I proposed this idea to her of like, you know, using my birthday party as a marketing kind of opportunity for the cafe. And so she ended up kind of like being like one of my mentors and a godmother, and she sponsored my whole birthday party. So I just feel like, you know, as long as you put yourself out there, you never know who you'll meet, and you'll never know how much people would go to great lengths to help you make your dreams come true. So that's my story of how I put myself out there, and that has led to so many opportunities for me. And it all just started from, you know, me talking about going to the Google headquarters in New York and seeing all the amazing amenities that they have. So we actually went up to their canteen where they had like a salad bar, food from so many different cultures. They had like sushi as well, and like a coffee stand where like there was someone making coffee for you 24/7. And there's also a place where they teach employees how to cook, so you can actually book cooking classes at Google. And so you can actually see that like the life of someone working in that tech company, what it's like. But a lot of people who work at Google are also dreaming of, you know, one day using this as a foundation to start their own companies one day, because, you know, people who work at these companies, they also have very big dreams as well. Yeah, so as someone who kind of, you know, is in a stage of my life where I also have a lot of very big dreams and like a lot of pathways that I can take it, it's very important to seek these mentors and seek opportunities where you can learn from these people who are, you know, 4 or 5 years ahead of you in their careers, so they can like guide you and mentor you, and, you know, hopefully inspire you to perhaps walk their paths one day, or not walk their paths, It really depends on what you want. But if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't put yourself in spaces where you can meet these people and be inspired by them and hopefully perhaps even gain their mentorship, you'll never know what is the right fit for you unless you try. Yeah. Any thoughts, please leave in the comments and I will come and answer your questions.